A long, plaintive wail emanated from the cardboard box. Whether Jacob had seen the box or heard the cry first, he could not be sure, but he was certain that the pitiful sound came from the box. At once he was regretting taking the shortcut from the burger bar to the car park. He always felt uncomfortable using it after dark. The passage between the record shop and the butcher's was only just wide enough for one person, and it was dimly lit with a single bulb. Where it opened out behind the shops, anyone could be lurking in the dark, out of sight of the high street, hardly visible in the shadows from the vast, empty car park. Still, he had something else to worry about this time, because there was that cry again, audible above the sound of the fans on the refrigerator unit at the back of the butcher's shop. It was a heart-rending sound of loneliness and pain and hunger. It brought back memories of childhood punishments when Jacob's mother would lock him in his bedroom without any dinner or supper. He could hear her voice even now, all these years later. "You disgusting little monster." And what was that sound? And what should he do about it? Leave it, probably. Let someone else sort it out. No one had helped him then, locked in his bedroom or in the dark cupboard under the stairs, shivering in his wet pajamas, his cries drowned out by his mother's ranting and the loud rumble of the washing machine. The cry, it went on long and pathetic, rising and falling in pitch. It was probably some kittens, the abandoned and unwanted offspring of a family pet, discarded by a callous owner. If it was, and if he opened the box, what then? He would feel responsible for them, would have to take them home. No. Let somebody else take care of it, not his problem. But the cry was echoing round the alley, echoing inside his head. It sounded almost human. And he thought, perhaps it is a baby shut inside the box, in the dark. He couldn't leave a baby shut inside a box, alone, in the dark. Jacob knew how that felt, to be shut in, how you could not breathe, how you began to sweat, how you could feel the blood rushing and roaring through your temples, and the contents of your stomach rising in your throat. The waves of panic that wash hot and cold throughout the body. And Jacob knew that if there was any chance that it could be a baby, then he would have no choice but to look inside the box. He was within a foot of the cardboard box, when suddenly there came a slight movement from the box, and the crying ceased. All was quiet, except for the thrum of the fans in the butcher shop wall. The top of the box was sealed with wide brown parcel tape. Jacob managed to get a fingernail under one end, and he peeled off the tape in one go. Then, pulling open the flaps, he stared into the shadowy darkness, trying to make some sense out of the shape within. Didn't look like a baby. In fact, there seemed to be several sets of eyes blinking back at him. "Kittens. I was right the first time," he said to himself, reaching in with both hands to pick one up. Taloned hands grabbed both his wrists, sudden and vice-like. Searing pain shot up his arms. He yelled out and tried to pull away, but the claws pulled back, hard and sharp, digging into his flesh and forcing him off balance. Jacob realized that there was no way he could keep himself from falling head first into the cardboard box. And as his head entered into the box, more small, clawing hands grabbed at it, tearing at his hair and ears. He felt sharp talons entering his nostrils, dig into his neck and shoulders, and even as his chest entered the box, Jacob was aware of the warm and wet and strangely comforting feeling that was spreading through the front of his trousers. Then the claws pulled his whole body, all the rest of his body, down into the darkness, and he could feel the hot and cold waves of panic spreading through his body. As he struggled for breath, the roaring of the blood in his ears, his shouts of terror began to subside, turning first into a whimper and then into a long, plaintive wail that emanated from the cardboard box. Whether Julie had seen the box or heard the cry first, she could not be sure, but she was certain that the pitiful sound came from the box. At once, she was regretting taking the shortcut through the dark alley to the car park. The Cry by D.B. Adams, with a alternative ending by F.J. Laskowski. Thank you, and good night.